Well, it's hard to put it into words, really. You sit there and, the Spectrum, first of all, is just a special place to play, having played here and then to have your son come out and whether he start or not, man, it just sends chills down your spine, that to see your son playing there and having that same experience that I experienced here. But the night that he started as a freshman, I was sitting there with my wife, and I think she had tears in her eyes. So did I. I didn't want her to see mine, but but that was a special moment.
And when he used to coach us, it was pretty intense. he would he would do some stuff to get the best out of all of his players. And I used to play up 2 years with my brother, and my dad would coach us. We'd go down to summer games, and it was kind of crazy when a ref would call a bad call. Our dad would get going, and it was crazy. But practices were fun. He always taught us the fundamentals of the game, taught us to work hard, to listen, to focus. That when he was talking, don't be dribbling a ball. Listen to what he's trying to tell us, because in the long run, it's going to pay off in the games. And then I always think about it. I'm like, yeah, what he said in practice actually pays off all the time, And I thought it was great that he's always just been there to help me and my brother through hard times, through good times. But sometimes I feel like I play good and I come home and he gives me a million things to work on, and I'm like thinking like, wow, maybe I didn't play that good. But then at the very end, he's like, you played good. You just have a lot to work on, He's always there to push us to get our best out of me and my brother. He comes to most of our games to watch. If you can't go drive up to my brother's game, he's always watching them online, calling us after the games, telling us what to work on. And I think it's great to just have his support and just help us be the best that we can be.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
If freshman year, he would probably beat me. Back then, if we were playing, if he was a freshman, I was a freshman right now, and we played against each other, he would probably beat me back then, honestly. I think I still got quite a ways to go to get to the level he was at, so I honestly think he would probably beat me back then. But I don't know. By the time I get older, hopefully I would be able to take him. But I think back then he would be able to take me.
I think his athletic ability. I see him run the court. I would run the court. He's smooth. Kind of like I was when I played. And he just. I think he has some skills that were probably a little bit more advanced than I was when I was a freshman. For example, Jalen handled the basketball really well for a guy his size. He's a great passer, and those kind of things. And those are some of the skills that I think that I developed later on in my career that I didn't have coming in as a freshman.
And I just want to know, what it was like to actually play in the NCAA tournament back then, like the 2A tournament, or the NIT, whichever one was more important back then.
Yeah. My senior year, we played in the NCAA tournament. We played up in Pullman, Washington. We was in the West region. And in our region, it was Utah State, University of Montana, UCLA, and the University of Michigan, And I tell Grayson and Jalen this story. It was an experience that I really don't remember, because the day before we go to Pullman, Washington, we had a practice, and I actually sprained my ankle. So I stayed up the entire night doing treatment on my ankle, the cold and all this kind of stuff. And so when we get up to Pullman, Washington, I go out for the game. I actually had some painkillers that kind of freaked me out, and I don't remember a lot about that game. And that's the most unfortunate thing about it. I do remember that I was looking back on some of the stats, and we lost to the University of Montana 69-63, and it wasn't one of my best games. I think I had 14 points, maybe 10 rebounds in that game, but it was a game that I thought we could have won had I been healthy. So, yeah, they used to call me Jumping Jimmy Moore. I had a really high vertical jump, so I probably had about a 40-inch vertical jump, So so when I see Jalen go up and get the alley oops, yeah, I go. I used to be able to get up there. I know what the air is like up there. So yeah, but yeah, it's fun. I remember when we were getting ready to play San Diego State here in the Spectrum, and you and I was talking about this, and I was saying you're going to have an experience that you never had before in your young career, and that is when you walk out of the Spectrum and the arena is full. And so I wanted to know, when you came down to the tunnel that night, what was that feeling like?
I thought it was great. It was a whiteout game. It was great to walk out and see just the whole Spectrum in white. and it's crazy to run past a team that's ranked that high, number 7 in the nation at the time. I think it's crazy, and to see like a coach like that, it's just unreal. I remember before the game, he was sitting in the hallway, and I walked past him up there to go get my ankles taped, and I kind of just like wanted to stop and talk to him because he's like coached all those great players, but I'm just like, nah, I got to focus on the game, you know. But I thought it was cool after the game to be able to shake his hand and be able to play a team that have a team like that come into the Spectrum, and we competed with them, took them into overtime. I thought it was great. I had a great game. I had fun that game. It's a tough loss for us, but I thought it was great that we hung around in there and played with the team that was ranked that high in the nation.
I wish I had it. I never had one. I tried to grow one when I was in college, and I had a little something on my head. And back in the day, you had the afro, and then you had the smaller one that we used to call the TWA, the teeny weeny afro. That's what I had. I had the TWA, so the little teeny weeny afro. I couldn't grow the big one like Jalen. So
2 years, been growing it for 2 years. I don't plan on cutting it anytime soon, you know, just to shape it up so it stays nice. But I like it. I think a lot of people like it, and kind of makes me stand out when I play. And I think that's a good thing. And I've always had it when I played. I don't know if my basketball skills would go away if I cut it or something, so I got to keep it, you know. But I'll plan on keeping it for a little bit. At first, when they were recruiting me, I was like thinking, I was sitting there in the room with him, and I'm like, I hope he's gonna let me keep my hair. And then he said, he's like, I'll let you keep your hair. And I was like, okay. I was like, all right, then we're good. And then the first couple of days of practice, before we had photos, he was telling me that he liked my fro and he liked my afro and stuff. So I was like, okay. I can do this. I'll keep it for a little bit. So I'm just probably gonna keep it for a little bit. I don't plan on changing my hairstyle anytime soon. So